The first page we'll see after we've logged in is the search page. This list will look different to you because it's ordered on the distance to the device. And we're going to want to create our very first store, so we're going to open the menu and we're going to click on the create link and go to the create page. This page shows a list of all the tours that you've created. Now we haven't created any tours yet, so unsurprisingly there's nothing here. In order to create our first, we're going to press on the plus button at the bottom there, and we're going to quickly give this a name. First tour. Click save. And now we need to click it to go to the edit page. Now it's going to ask me if I want to record the route. I'm going to click record to show you how this works. So here I am walking around. Now, depending on how old your phone is and how good its GPS is, at first the line might be a little bit wild. Now I'm actually inside and that's going to make it a little bit worse as well. But I'll just stop this now, clicking on the stop tracking. So what this line is, this isn't actually used by the tour itself. This is just for you during the authoring process to know where you've walked. If you were to have done a tour down some streets, and you may very well remember exactly where you walked, and you can put out the areas accordingly. Whereas if you're walking through some fields, let's say you're doing a tour around, say, Stonehenge, it's a lot more difficult to look at a blank map and know where you were standing and where's a good vantage point. So again, this is purely for you while you're creating a tour. Now I'm going to put some areas out to show you, and to do that I'm simply clicking on the screen and it will put out an area. I can again give this any name I like. These names are visible to users as they're using the tour. Introduction, there we go. And I'm going to put out a second tour for the end. In fact, I'll just keep that as area 2. Once you put these areas down, you can move them around like that by clicking on the center point and moving them, and you can also resize the areas. You might want a big area like that. Now the initial size, you probably don't want to make it any smaller than that, because as previously stated, not everybody's GPS is that accurate, so you might want to make it the area as big as possible so that they can't possibly miss it. The final thing to do then really is actually add some audio to one of these areas, or presumably both of these areas. What we do is we click on the list. We're going to click on introduction, and then we're going to get this menu where we can rename it or link some audio or delete it. We're wanting to link audio, so I'm going to click that. The first time I come to this screen, I'm going to be asked if this application should have permission to access the microphone, and obviously we're going to need it to, so click allow. We don't have any audio at the minute, so let's click on the microphone icon at the bottom to start recording. So you can see that we're recording because there's a flashing red dot at the top of the screen. I'm not going to say much, and I'm just going to click the icon again to stop it. You'll have noticed that there was very quickly an encoding message there. Now, because I was only recording for a few seconds, it didn't take too long to encode the audio. If you're doing a proper tour, you might well be talking for several minutes, and again, depending on the age of your device, it might take longer to process that. We are going to name this, in fact we'll just keep it as audio 1. You probably don't want to give it something as generic as audio 1 in your actual tours. Not that the user will see that, but it's easier for you to identify what file is for what area. Now that I've got it, I can click on it and that will bring up as menu again. Now I can link it, play back the audio or cancel. Here I'm going to link the audio, and then I'm going to click the X to go back. The last thing I'm going to do is click on the menu button at the top, and then I'm going to click on edit tour info. We've already given the tour a title when we first created it, but now we'll need to add a description. So my first description. The description is what is seen on the search page, so it should be relatively brief. The detailed description here is what's shown after you've clicked on it, and that's a more thorough description which should really sell your tour. But I'm not going to type out something long, I'm just going to type long description here. And then finally, so that people can see it, you need to click on the published switch. Now we're going to close this down, and it's going to ask us if we want to save these changes. I do, so click confirm. And finally, all I need to do is click on back at the top there, and it's going to ask me if I want to sync with the server. I definitely do, so click agree.